Reaperman here. Sorry for ditching my usual setup, but I'm here filming in a different room of the house. So audio especially is going to tremendously suffer on this one. But I did want to show off a little project I've been working on, a project that's kind of distracted me from all of my other projects, so I'm sorry for anybody who's been trying to follow that arcade stick build. Oops. So anyway, I got myself on kind of a Dreamcast kick, and I wanted to build myself up a nice setup to play it on. Now, part of the reason I'm on a Dreamcast kick is because I was pricing out high-end CRTs for, you know, PDMs, that kind of thing, and I was getting a little distressed by the price. But then I remembered the Sega Dreamcast. Well, that looks absolutely fantastic on just any old standard VGA monitor. And I was actually surprised how hard it was to track down a decent VGA monitor. But I managed to find kind of a gem here. It's got some coding issues, but other than that, it does pretty well. And I guess this is really the center of the setup here. And the big deal with it, though, is that it's actually got these two speakers built right into the monitor to give it kind of a TV-like appearance here. And this whole setup that I was putting together, it actually unfortunately has to be mobile because I really don't have room to have a permanent Sega Dreamcast, I don't know, kiosk sitting up somewhere in the house. So I opted to go with a kind of a cart setup. And luckily I was able to source from a thrift store an old rolling file cabinet. And I threw some contact paper on it to kind of, you know, take out some of the blemishes and coffee rings, that kind of thing. But the reason I went with a rolling filing cabinet, not just because it was available, but files are really heavy. And it's actually hard to find a modern piece of furniture that can hold up something that's actually heavy. And if it wasn't for this, I'd have to go with something like, I don't know, a microwave stand or something. Those were the other things I was looking at, microwave stands, kitchen islands. Those were all much too tall for what I needed. I just needed something to get the TV elevated a bit, while the monitor elevated, so I could play it here on the couch. I do highly recommend a setup somewhat similar to this. It's getting really hard to find these monitors, so I highly recommend anybody that doesn't have an old VGA CRT and thinks at some point in the future they may want to play Dreamcast, just go out and buy one now. Don't wait on it, because this looks absolutely fantastic. You'd swear it was HD looking at it. It's absolutely amazing. So getting back to the unit here, my Sega Dreamcast, like many Sega Dreamcasts, is just a standard launch build, and it's completely stock. There's no mods to it at all. There is an SD reader in the back, and it's got the standard VGA box I bought way back in 1999. Other than that, it's pretty standard. Down here I've got room for 60 of my favorite games and accessories. You know, even some weird stuff like this video CD, MP3 playing remote. Just some weird stuff in here. Plenty of room for it. I've got the keyboard somewhere else, and I've got most of the sports and wrestling games that I'm never going to play somewhere else. One downside to going VGA, though, is you are going to miss out on some games. I mean, really the only one I'm going to miss is going to be Air Force Delta. That's an absolutely fantastic game, but I just cannot trick it into displaying on this VGA monitor. And this VGA monitor isn't one of those fancy ones that can sync to 15 kilohertz or 31. So I didn't really luck out that way, but that's okay. One neat trick, though, that this thing does do is in here, along with the VGA box and whatnot, is actually a VGA splitter. And that VGA splitter runs to a small Pico projector in back. See, for some reason I had a 640 by 480 little tiny Pico projector. And I don't think I can actually capture the image, but I'm going to try later on. But it's just a really weak projector that just kind of gives me a little bonus image up on the ceiling to look at. It's kind of nice, and I don't think I'd ever find another use for this thing. But anyway, this is just me quickly showing off my new Dreamcast setup here, and you know, it's been a while since I put out a video, and I don't imagine this one's going to be a great video. I can already see the audio kind of sucking because the microphone's way up there on the camera. But hey, I guess without further ado, I'm going to flip the light off here, reorient the camera, and see if we can get some of this image. So down here is the regular monitor, and if we roll up here, you can actually see a fairly decent but a little bit dim image of the same game, also through VGA. So it seems to be in kind of a weird aspect ratio. Looks like it's supposed to be in 16 by 9. I don't know how they managed that. I guess the pixels must not be square or something like that. But anyway, that's my setup.